confirmed?
Well, I think people in South Carolina are excited about Judge Barrett. I don't know how much it affected fundraising today, but if you want to help me close the gap, lindseygraham.com, a little bit goes a long way. The bottom line is my opponent raised $57 million. Congratulations to him. That's the most anybody's ever raised in the history of the Senate. I raised $28 million, the most any Republican has ever raised. I think the contest in South Carolina has taken on sort of a national profile. I think what's happened in my case is that I stood up for Kavanaugh, and that made some people pretty upset on the left, and I've been helping President Trump. But I trust the people of South Carolina to get it right. The state's not for sale. I feel really good about my campaign. I've never felt better about my campaign than I do right now. Going to work hard, run through the tape. They hate my guts because I stood up for Kavanaugh when they tried to destroy that man's life, and the unpardonable sin in politics has helped Donald Trump. My opponent has raised $57 million, the most in the Senate, in the history of the United States Senate, because they want to take me out. LindseyGraham.com, help me close the gap. To all people listening on this show, you've been very generous.
So Lindsey Graham, guys, is still begging for money on Fox News, on C-SPAN, wherever he can, because Jaime Harrison is crushing him in the fundraising game. And also, he's not doing too badly in the actual polling. The two clips I showed you, the first one was Lindsey Graham after some of the Amy Coney Barrett hearings, where he basically said, look, I'm getting crushed in fundraising. He's raising $57 million. Go to lindseygraham.com. Me taking on the Democrats and defending Amy Coney Barrett is going to hurt me today. Give me money, please, to fight back against the Democrats. And then also he was on Fox News last night. I did a video a couple weeks ago where even then he was begging about how the Democrats were destroying him money-wise. He was basically crying. He was almost like, Sean, you gotta help me, Sean. Sean, Fox News viewers, please, you gotta give me money. I'm getting killed here money-wise. And it's just the absolute desperation. And sure, some of it is about the money. A lot of it's about the money. He is getting out fundraised in a state where Democratic candidates don't often fundraise all that well because there's a perception they can't win. Like, you know, if you have money to give to Senate candidates and you live just anywhere in the US, you don't want to give money to Senate candidates, frankly, that are going to win in blowouts or that are going to lose in blowouts. You want your dollar to matter, so you're going to target that money to like the, you know, half a dozen senators that can win. And often Democrats aren't in the play in South Carolina. But the most recent poll we have shows Jaime Harrison at 48 and Lindsey Graham at 47, and Lindsey Graham sort of slipping and Jaime Harrison rising. And what that shows me is that maybe Harrison has a bit of momentum. Now, to be clear, this is still very close, and it's well within the margin of error. And you have to think, you know, unfortunate as it is, that the incumbent advantage likely will add some support to Lindsey Graham. So there's a chance that Lindsey Graham still wins this race. But the reason he's freaking out about the fundraising is because it's actually affecting the polling. The money that Jaime Harrison is raising is allowing him to reach more people, allowing him to put out more ads and you know, get the logistical things you need to win a race. But it's also indicative of national and local indignation with Lindsey Graham, as he's lied about the Supreme Court appointment, saying he didn't support a last year appointment, as he's defended Donald Trump time and time and time again, even when he was supposedly one of the more reasonable Republicans that was going to stand up to Trump and his worst excesses. One final thing to add in this video. That first clip I showed you, and I didn't think of this when I first saw it, but people online have noted that that was actually illegal, because what he was doing there was outside the Senate hearing room, basically making a direct appeal for donations, which means Lindsey Graham, a sitting senator, was doing direct fundraising appeals in a federal public building, which isn't allowed. Senatorial candidates are allowed to fundraise, obviously, but they're not supposed to do it in their place of work. They're not supposed to. This is why often you'll see them, you know, when they make their phone calls for donors, they'll actually go to a separate office off the hill. They probably still do make calls in their office, but You're not legally supposed to use taxpayer-funded space to raise money for your personal campaigns. So in addition to being a begging, lying, crying coward about the fact that Jaime Harrison is shattering fundraising records by raising $57 million, he's stooping to illegal tactics to get even more money, begging to the C-SPAN crowd for cash. This is great to see. Lindsey Graham can still win, but I've never seen such a quote-unquote safe Republican in the Senate freak out this much about the potential that they're gonna lose.